So, our New York Times article is about this school in Atlanta that is for deaf children, and um, it's mainly like Hispanic children, African American children, just like basically children of color. There's more children of color than there are white people at that school, and they have just gotten a new principal, and she is a white woman, and she has her hearing, and the students just started a protest because they were just a little upset because they felt uncomfortable in their school now, and because their leader just had nothing in common with them. And that kind of just relates straight back to the article of where, not that the kids were being racist, but where they might feel uncomfortable about it. There's an article that we talked about in class that was like where racism started, and it was just like where racism started, and it was not created, but it like became about a long time ago when white men just wanted to take over everything and establish dominance. And so that relates to another article we talked about in class of the rappers and having rap songs with the N-word in it, and like how it just really creates a divide, just like the New York Times article that's creating a divide. And when it was a long time ago, it was a divide, and even today with the use of the N-word, African American people can say it, some Hispanics can say it, and some other like racists can say it, but if you were white, you just don't say it, and if you knew, you're done. But in my opinion, I just think that if it's offensive, if someone says it, then why would you want to say it and be allowed to say something offensive if you think it's offensive? So I just don't think anybody should say it if it's offensive. And so just like with racism and everything, it's been around forever, but it relates to an article. It relates to all the articles, but one of the ones is about Obama's race and how he was just discriminated against strictly because of his race and not because of it wasn't judged on what his political beliefs were. And that relates it really relates with the articles that we've talked about discrimination in the workplace. The one about the black workers bringing like precautions about black workers versus like white workers, like same with like discrimination in the workplace and having precautions about black workers just kind of go smack dab together, in my opinion, because discrimination in the workplace, it just talks about how people have come to secretly discriminate in the workplace even though it's legal, which is the precautions about black workers, pretty much the same thing. And same with racial profiling, but that also leads into the articles about the Mexican Americans and the Asian Americans, and that just kind of shows that it's not just African American people, that it's Asians and Hispanics and anybody who just isn't white, essentially. And it kind of breaks my heart as well that we talked about another article about how it's not just because of your skin color, but it can be because you have a disability, and how people, I know it's like people aren't ready for it, like, and they aren't prepared for it, but why not? Because there are so many people that have a disability. So I just feel like it all ties together to the big theme, because like I feel like when people think of racism, they just think over an African American, but in reality, it can be anybody. It can be, like in these articles, a Mexican American, a Hispanic person, an Asian person, even disabled people, things that like you can't help, like racism. A lot of that falls under the big category of racism, and all of these articles touch on all of that. And so yeah, even the New York Times article.